Hey everyone, welcome back. Thanks for tuning in today. We've got an incredible story to share with you, so let's dive right in. This one hits close to home. What happens when the person you think you know completely turns out to be someone else? I guess I should start at the very beginning. My name is Ethan, and for 3 years, I was in love with a woman named Lily. Not just love, I was convinced she was my future. I wasn't looking for anything when I first met her, but sometimes life gives you something so amazing. You just know you'd be foolish to let it go. We met at a charity event. I wasn't expecting anything special, just another Saturday volunteering. But then I saw her. She was handing out snacks to the volunteers, smiling, chatting, and spreading positive energy. And when our eyes met, it felt like time slowed down. I know it sounds cheesy, but that's how it felt. We started talking, and it was so easy. No awkward pauses, no forcing small talk. It was just natural. We discovered we had so much in common. We both cared about helping others. We loved to travel, and we shared the same values. By the end of the event, I knew I wanted to see her again, and from that day forward, Lily became a big part of my life. 3 years flew by in the blink of an eye. We built something amazing together. We went on adventures, made future plans, met each other's families. She became my best friend, and when the moment felt right, I proposed to her. She said yes, and I thought I had everything I ever wanted. The months that followed were a whirlwind of wedding planning. We picked out venues, created guest lists, and bickered over the little details that wouldn't matter a year from now. It was stressful, yes, but at the end of the day, I was just so excited to marry the woman I loved. Life felt perfect. I had no idea that it was all about to come crashing down, but it did. And when it did, it shattered everything. A month before the wedding, Lily suggested a girls' trip to Miami. She framed it as one last getaway with her close friends before becoming a married woman. At first, I hesitated, not because I didn't trust her, but because we were deep into wedding preparations, and taking off for a week felt like a distraction. But she reassured me. She wasn't going alone. She'd be with friends I knew, women I'd met at our engagement party and other gatherings. They weren't just random people. They were part of our circle. So I gave her my blessing. In fact, I encouraged it. I figured it'd be a great way for her to unwind from all the stress of wedding planning. She had been juggling so much, choosing the perfect venue, dealing with guest lists, managing family expectations. I could see how it was weighing on her. If a few days with her friends could help her relax, why not? Trust is the foundation of any relationship, and I trusted Lily completely. The morning of her flight, I drove her to the airport. She was in high spirits, wearing a summer dress, sunglasses on, already in vacation mode. Before she disappeared into the terminal, she kissed me and said she loved me. I watched her walk away, never imagining that this trip would change everything. Wanting to surprise her, I decided to book our honeymoon. She had always dreamed of visiting the Maldives, so I secured a luxury resort with a private beach view. It wasn't cheap, but I wanted to give her the perfect start to our life together. As I clicked confirm on the reservation, I smiled, picturing how happy she'd be when I shared the news. I had no idea that while I was planning our future, she was already working to destroy it. 5 days into her trip, I was at home, exhausted from dealing with last-minute wedding details, when my phone buzzed. It was an unknown number. Normally, I ignore those, assuming it's spam, but something urged me to open it. The message was short, cold, and like a punch to the gut. "You're being a fool. You're wasting money on a wedding, while Lily's living it up with another guy." I frowned. Before I could even process the message, a series of videos started loading beneath it. My hands trembled as I tapped the first one. There she was, Lily, on a dimly lit dance floor, wearing a tight dress. Her arms were wrapped around some random guy, her body pressed against his as they danced together. She was laughing, clearly drunk, her head thrown back as they swayed to the music. My heart sank, but it didn't end there. The next video showed her on a beach, curled up next to another guy. Their legs were tangled in the sand, his hand tracing circles on her skin. She didn't pull away. In fact, she looked completely at ease, like this was nothing out of the ordinary for her. Then came the screenshots. A group chat. Her friends laughing about her wild night. They weren't concerned. They weren't worried. They were encouraging her. One of them even typed, "Girl, you're having way too much fun. I hope Ethan doesn't find out." My body went cold. I thought about calling her. I wanted answers. Wanted her to explain herself. Stutter through some weak excuse. But something stopped me. I needed more than just blurry videos from an anonymous anonymous source. If this was true, I needed solid proof. And beyond that, I had to know who was behind these messages. Someone wanted me to see this. Someone wanted to expose Yvonne. But why? I decided to trace the number. With a few online tools and some quick digging, I had my answer. The messages had come from one of Yvonne's friends, the same group of girls who had been with her on that trip. That's when everything started to click. This wasn't some random person trying to ruin my life. No, this was personal. Someone close to her had turned against her. Taking a deep breath, I sent a text through her Instagram. No anger, no accusations, just direct. "I know it was you." She replied almost immediately. "Are you texting to thank me for saving you?" This girl wasn't playing around. She did this for a reason, and she was ready to make sure I understood why. I typed back, "Prove these aren't fake." She didn't hesitate. She sent more videos, more photos, more proof. The first video hit me like a punch to the gut. Yvonne was sitting on some guy's lap, her arms around his neck, her lips pressed against his. Then came the recordings. In one, Yvonne was sitting with her friends, laughing and saying, I love Charlie, but his family, God, they're so annoying. His mom always acts like she's better than everyone. And his sister, please, if she wasn't his sister, I wouldn't even talk to her. I could feel my chest tighten. These were the people who welcomed her with open arms, treated her like family, and she was mocking them behind their backs. But the next recording was worse. Look, it was just a one-night thing. I was drunk, he was hot, and it was Miami. It's not like I'm going to marry the guy. Besides, it's not that deep. I had to replay it. My mind couldn't process it all at once. But there was no mistaking her voice. I could hear it clearly. I reached out to the friend who had sent me everything. I called her, and she answered quickly, like she'd been waiting for this moment. I asked, my voice tight, "Why?" She didn't hesitate. "Because you deserve to know." I waited, and she kept talking. Yvonne acts like she's this perfect, loyal girlfriend when she's really just selfish. She talks down to me, talks down to everyone else, and she doesn't respect you. So yeah, I exposed her. There was no apology in her voice, no remorse. She wasn't doing this for me. It was about her own bitterness toward Yvonne. With the proof in my hands, I had a choice to make. When Yvonne returned from her trip, she came back with her usual smile. She hugged me, kissed me, told me she missed me. She even brought back some souvenirs, cheap keychains, and a t-shirt with Miami printed on it. She told me how relaxing her trip had been, how much she needed a break before the wedding. She was lying. I knew it. And the worst part? She had no clue that I knew. I kept my cool, nodding at the right moments, forcing a small smile when she made a joke. I wasn't going to give her the satisfaction of an argument. No, I would let her think everything was normal. She would believe she had gotten away with it. It was the only way this would work. So I played along. When she talked about wedding details, I pretended to be excited. When she showed me the seating chart, I acted interested. When she asked about my suit fitting, I told her I'd take care of it. Every moment tested my patience, but I didn't crack. I made sure everything was set up just as I wanted it. Because while she was picking flowers, I was making my own plans she would never see coming. The night before the wedding, I sat down with my family, my parents, my siblings, the people who truly loved me. I showed them everything, the videos, the recordings, the messages. I didn't need to say much. My mother's face went pale. My father's jaw tightened. My sister muttered something under her breath that I won't repeat here. They were angry, but more than that, they were heartbroken for me. They wanted me to call it off right there, to confront Yvonne, to make it all stop. But I told them no. I needed to do this my way. I looked each of them in the eye and gave a simple instruction: don't show up tomorrow. They didn't argue. They understood. And just like that, the stage was set. Yvonne went to bed that night thinking she was waking up to the happiest day of her life. She had no idea that she was about to face the most humiliating day of hers and the most freeing day of mine. The church looked beautiful that morning. White flowers lining the aisle, soft music playing in the background, and guests dressed in their finest, all eagerly awaiting the big moment. Yvonne's family must have been buzzing with excitement, exchanging smiles, shaking hands, talking about how stunning she would look. Her bridesmaids were probably busy adjusting her dress, making sure every little detail was perfect. It was supposed to to be the happiest day of her life. But there was one glaring problem. There was no groom. At first, I imagine it didn't seem like a big deal. Yvonne probably checked her phone, expecting a quick on my way text, but there was nothing. She called, no answer. She tried again, straight to voicemail. I saw each call, each message, and ignored every single one. As time ticked by, I could picture the guest starting to notice something was off. Whispers started to spread like wildfire through the pews. She kept calling, dialing my number over and over, leaving voicemails, first confused, then anxious, then desperate. But I never picked up. By the time she stood there in that wedding dress, surrounded by hundreds of people, waiting for a ceremony that would never happen, I was already gone, bags packed, far away, where she would never find me. As the realization set in, her world must have come crashing down. Her perfect day became a nightmare, and all she could do was break down in the middle of it. The weight of her actions had caught up to her, and for the first time, she had no control over the outcome. She had made her choices, and now she had to live with them. I don't know how it happened, but I later found out that someone from my family leaked everything. The videos, the recordings, the messages. I never planned for that part, but honestly, I wasn't mad about it. Once the truth was out, there was no going back. Yvonne went from being the happy bride to be to the woman everyone whispered about behind her back. The same people who had once congratulated her on our engagement were now avoiding her calls, side-eyeing her in public, and treating her like a stranger. The story spread quickly, faster than I had anticipated. Wedding guests, mutual friends, even people from work, they all saw her for exactly who she was. She tried to do damage control, of course. She reached out to people, probably trying to explain herself, make excuses, or even spin the story to make herself look better. But the evidence was undeniable. The videos showed her actions. The recordings captured her words. There was no room for speculation. She was exposed, and she knew it. Yvonne had always cared about her image, about being admired and respected. Now, she had neither. She called me nonstop, sent text after text, and left long, desperate voicemails. They started off demanding answers, but by the end, she was crying, begging to talk, claiming it wasn't what it looked like. I never responded, not once. What was there to say? She wasn't sorry for what she had done. The anger, the heartbreak, the humiliation, they were still there. But at least I wasn't trapped in it anymore. I wasn't in the same city as the woman who betrayed me, and that was enough. Looking back, I learned a lot from all of this. First, never ignore red flags. Just because you love someone, love doesn't give them a free pass to disrespect you. Second, trust is everything. Once it's broken, it's nearly impossible to rebuild. And third, never let yourself be so blinded by love that you forget to protect yourself. I gave Yvonne my trust, my future, my loyalty. She threw it all away for a weekend in Miami. That was her choice. But my choice? Mine was to walk away and never look back. She made her choice. I made mine. And now, I don't exist in her world anymore. What do you guys think? Did I do the right thing by walking away without a word? Or should I have confronted her? Let me know in the comments. And if you've ever been through something like this, I'd love to hear your story. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button and turn on notifications so you never miss more shocking real-life stories like this. See you in the next one.